mainly for qualifying spots to the big stops. But for now, let's see how it performs in the Grandmasters League. Match number 2 of the day. It's FroStee versus Flurry. FroStee on the Warrior on the top, and Flurry going to be playing out this Rogue. These are their core main decks, and we'll see how it goes out here. I see an Evil Miscreant as well as Coin, and some filthy cards like Prep and Raiding Party Language Hacker. So already, if I was Flurry, I'd be feeling pretty happy with this opening hand.
Ironically, quite a bomb of a hand.
Hey. I like it already. You're getting off to a great start in the casting, mate.
Good to know. Flurry holding on to preparation raiding party for a future turn. Just coin Miscreant to get some lackeys.
Yeah, no need to rush it out yet. It isn't really going to be used for a couple of turns anyway. But FroStee not off to a bad start himself. The Eternium Rover, and then even Wrench Caliber and double Dynomatic with Ziliax. To me, just spells a lot of dead rogue minions.
Oh yeah. Funnily enough, the Miscreant, even though it's not a large minion in itself, it has a lot of health. And from Frostee's perspective, it's annoying to kill. It's not pushing a lot of damage by itself, but I mean, it takes what, 2 Wrench Caliber swings at it. You could rush in a Militia Commander, but then you're sinking 5 damage into something that has 1 attack and you feel kind of awkward about it.
And there's also alternate phase of what the lackeys are going to do to it. Some, buff plus 1 attack, which makes it a little bit more annoying. Twice as powerful in its attack. But also Witchy Lackey turns it into a 4-drop. It's like, oh, he played it, he got 2 lackeys, and now he has a 4-drop. Like, this is getting progressively more frustrating. But we'll see what FroStee chooses to answer this. I do think he has to kill that Aragorn with the Wrench Caliber. I don't think you can afford to even just let Flurry have an extra minion. Like, what if he gets, an extra Nomi or an extra Leroy or, extra Greenskin, and almost extra anything is going to be good.
Yeah. I think he has to consider whether or not he expects any weapon removal from Flurry. Flurry does have a Bloodsail Corsair and a Swamp Ooze, but I think it's...
I think going into the turn that you can play a card to combo Raiding Party as well makes it, like, terrifying. All of the pirates, please.
Okay, from Flurry's side, he does have the Ooze, but not much else to do past that. He could use the Witchy Lackey as well if he chooses to Ooze this turn to evolve the Miscreant to something that costs a bit more, maybe perhaps a bit more threatening, but he could also consider keeping the Miscreant around since he just drew a Shadow Step, fill his hand up a bit more with lackeys.
Yeah, something to note as well is Shadow Step in Nomi that I talked about earlier will not come into play because Nomi is not in his primary deck, which means that Shadow Step is more free, I would say, to be used in other fashions, whether it's on a Miscreant, whether it's on a Live Drinker for lethal, or even just some kind of value generation, maybe even on a Greenskin, to be able to just make a Waggle Pit go even harder.
Flurry making a board big enough that doesn't die to Dynomatic and also doesn't die to Warpath, setting up to push some damage next turn.
And also non-susceptible to a... Is he running it in his core list? Oh, he's not, actually. Okay. I was just checking for Super Collider, just in case, but he isn't running one in his primary deck, which means that Super Collider isn't really going to be a fear. There is only 1 more Wrench Caliber left as weapons. Oh, and 2 weapons projects, I guess.
Kind of an awkward turn from FroStee. You probably do just Dynomatic. Devastator doesn't do a whole lot. I'm not sure if you want to Shield Slam anything here yet. Militia Commander doesn't line up quite well with a Divine Shield left over on the Silver Moon Guardian.
Ziliax feels like a bit of a miss because of it's not healing, which you can always get value out of Ziliax against a rogue because all their minions pretty much have 3 health. So it always lines up pretty well. Shield Slam and Omega Devastator.
There aren't that many Shield Slam targets in the rogue lists. Especially if they're not running cards like Heistman and Togwaggle.
Right. Also, funnily enough, because there aren't many Shield Slam targets, there aren't many Omega Devastator targets either. So I actually quite like this of just getting, you know what, I'm getting a 4/5 out. It might soften up the board a little bit to make my Dynomatics next turn and the turn after way, way, way more powerful and actually board clearing.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
But here's the power play of the Prep into the Raiding Party. And there's the Waggle Pick. And suddenly... This is the turn when you're against Rogue that you see, and then you start to think, oh, am I just dead in 2 turns? Have they got, well, now he knows they've not got Greenskin, but like you think, oh, if Greenskin comes down, that's even more damage. Am I just already under too much of a threat?
Could be scary. No weapon hate in hand. We have 2 weapons projects in Harrison available in FroStee's deck. Again, Flurry developing a board that doesn't die to Dynomatic. Also doesn't die to Warpath at this point. This is kind of what the Rogue has to do. Keep presenting boards that are, you know, awkward enough for the Warrior to deal with.
Inefficient.
Yeah, exactly.
Flurry is getting a little bit dry on resources now. He has a couple of turns. You know, SI, Life Drinker going to get some work done. The Shadow Step can help. Maybe even if he can bounce that Witchy Lacking to, you know, make the Silver Moon Guardian a little bit better. But overall, he's just getting a little bit dry for the late game. Never mind. What did I say about Greenskin? Oh, this is terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah, that pickup was very powerful for Flurry.
You can push 9 and just kill off the 2/2 easily.
Trading off the deckhand, making your board better against Brawl. Also efficient damage allocation.
Yeah, this is the scary moment now. The second that Greenskin comes down, it's just so much extra damage you're not prepared for. That FroStee now kind of needs a miracle, and he might. Oh, this is horrible.
Yeah, this
I was thinking he might have to Dynamatic now and just say, well, let's see what happens, and I can Dynamatic next turn and hope.
Oh my god.
I was just going to say, and you can sometimes. Hey, there you go. Very, very like FroStee. But I was going to say, maybe you hope for a miracle and you kill either that or the 3/3 off, and that's just, you take that as a win. But yeah, it turned out pretty well, and that's about as good as it was ever going to get, wasn't it? Wow. Flurry's like,
did that happen?
Wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's like, can we rewind? Like an instant replay on that Dynamatic. That was insane. It didn't even pick the shield off the Silver Moon Guardian.
So the way that Flurry can deal with this Dynomatic, if he chooses to, he could just, you know, chip everything face. But I don't think you want to swing with the Waggle pick at it. It's kind of awkward. You don't want to bounce back the Silver Moon Guardian, so you could develop something else on the board like Life Drinker SI.
I think that would be okay, you know.
Yeah.
Life Drinker SI swing. If it bounces the Silver Moon, well, okay. But if it bounces anything else, then that's a pretty strong minion afterwards. You're edging towards turns where you want to.
He is choosing balance the Silver Moon Guardian.
Okay, and then just play the SI with Life Drinker anyway. Huh. Interesting. I think I would have done it the other way around.
Maybe he values the Divine Shield on the Guardian.
I guess. I just wonder at this point, is he playing the Guardian that many times? Because to me, it looks very much like a Myra's. Maybe he just plays Guardian then Myra's. But
perhaps.
I always feel like there are better cards to play in there. Speaking of better cards, there's a pretty good one.
What now?
I think he has to play it.
I think that was a very timely draw.
No, he's not doing it.
I think
blown.
He's holding on one turn.
My always big worry with holding on turn for Boom, unless you're actually dead, if you play it obviously, is that the more the game goes on, I feel like the more pressure Flurry's going to drop on him. And I think that was, you know, just 2-3 attack minions was about as limited the amount of pressure as you're ever going to get in the game. But we'll see.
The one sap in Flurry's deck, I think FroStee wanted to capitalize on using the magnetizing Zilliax onto the Clockwork Goblin, because without a sap, the backstab doesn't include this now. You threaten to heal 6 if you go backstab trade, and if you don't even have backstab, it's how do you deal with this?
I wonder if Zilliax Shadow Step replay the SI and then play the Guardian.
Puts the most on the board.
It doesn't heal him for 6, which is always nice when you don't heal your opponent for 6.
Yeah.
And also it empties your hand, because I feel like he really wants to actually just empty his hand and get this Myra's down. I feel like FroStee's on enough health where Flurry can just go, let's do this. I like it.
Also conveniently empties your hand, so you can set up for the Myra's to draw a lot of cards. In fact, all the cards. Dynomatic's not doing quite enough here. I don't think you want to dig. I think this is the turn to play Boom.
Yeah, this is my problem though, right?
Yeah, there's more.
Turn to play Boom with 9 power. Yes, he's healed for more, but now there's 9 power on board. So it takes a more of a sort of bigger backswing. Doesn't mean he can hero power as well, I guess, which is some benefit. He couldn't have hero powered last turn.
But I think having the ability to rush the Clockwork Goblin or the Dynomatic in would have been a lot more powerful.
There's one.
Flurry keeps drawing gas. He can decide now if he wants to go Myras, try to escalate the game. Maybe take it a bit slower, raiding party Miscreant, try to get some more value before you go Myras. There's still a Waggle pick left on the deck. I believe there's still a Bloodseal Corsair. Dread Corsair as well. So raiding party could draw you all three, depending on how you want to order it.
It's the question, right? I think you're doing this order. I think the lackeys might actually just be that little bit better. And it's just more stuff, right? It's like 2 cards instead of one.
Oh, the Witchy Lackey is pretty good here. Can evolve this Ziliax if it chooses. Stegatron. Ooh, if the Battlecry went off, that would have been pretty cool.
That would have been pretty sick and slightly overpowered. Yeah. Imagine you evolve the Battlecries after 2. Jeez. Oh,
ooh, that's a new one.
Yep. That is a 3/2 that does a whole lot of nothing. If you want to know, it's a special deck building card. Similar. There you go. Oh, thank you. Zale Shadowcloak. You start the game with one of Zale's evil decks. But yeah, that is in the game now because it is a card you get from the single-player content that has just been announced. So casual plug there, but go out and try it. It looks a lot of fun. But that means it is in the game, and that can happen.
2 mana 3/2. Not bad.
Funnily enough, when you see it come off Elysiana, it's hilarious because it's a terrible choice.
Yeah. Warpath can let FroStee clear up the board here. Unfortunately, won't let him hero power, but I think dealing with the Mojo Master is a bit better than 7 health. Takes all the pressure off the board, buys some time. You still have some armor generation in hand, shield block. And it looks like, at least from FroStee's perspective, that Flurry's kind of running out of gas. He knows there's 2 pirates left in Flurry's hand, which is pretty much exactly the Bloodseal Corsair and the Dread Corsair. Bombs.
Yeah. Oh, Prep's a good pickup, though.
Ooh.
If he was going to draw 1 card this turn, Prep's actually pretty decent, just because it leaves him more mana to mess around with. If he plays Myras, of course, but I think at this point he can't not. I think he's just going to pull the trigger.
So Flurry was counting here how much mana he has to spend before the Myras, and this way, if he does prep Myras, he has enough mana to play the Edwin, which is still left in his deck, and he's very likely to draw.
Oh! Language Hacker, you're a god!
Well, there were 11 cards left. He was going to draw it, probably.
These caster predictions are on point. Yeah, but the first card, come on, take credit. And look, suddenly, at the damage. Forget about the 14 power on board. There is Leroy, Eviscerate, Life Drinker, SI7 Agent, Deadly Poison, Shadow Step, and a Waggle Pick. All of those are obscene amounts of damage in total. I'm not even going to count it. It's lethal. Unless FroStee does something about this, and his hand does not look like he can do much about it right now.
I mean, these are the kinds of explosive things that Rogue can do.
That is honestly one of the best Myras I've ever seen. And I've played Myras a lot.
Well, there were only 11 cards left. He wasn't really going to discard that much. But
it's just the order of that amount of cards being your end game seems almost perfect. Well, looks like a lot of damage from the way I'm staying on. Puts him to 12 already. Leroy Shadow Step alone, and never mind if this is. Yep, Flurry, you do what you like, friend. That looks like a big lethal to me. FroStee's disappointed. And it's a tough one, that, because, as you said, there were 11 cards in the deck. So it was likely 1 card got whiffed, fine. But the prep was huge in being able to just empty the hand.